Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Long Dairy's virtual chat. I am Brittany with Discover Dairy, and we are so excited that you are joining us today as we get to meet Farmer Connie and, of course, your adorable adopted calves, Ellie, Maggie, Matilda, and Muffins. Today's chat wouldn't be possible without the generous support of Dairy Alliance and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. So thank you to both of those organizations for making today possible. First, this live chat is part of the Adopt a Cow program. And for anyone that's new to Discover Dairy or Adopt a Cow, it is a free online resource that covers Common Core standards in math, reading, and science, all while teaching concepts about dairy. If you're interested in accessing those resources, that is at discoverdairy.com. We'd also love for you to join the Adopt a Cow Fund next year if you enjoyed this year. So if you're interested in joining again, or you're new to this program and want to join the fund, registration will be open on May 1st. And though it's not open yet, you can go ahead and sign up to receive a registration reminder email by going to discoverdairy.com/adopt. And when you sign and fill out that little form, we will make sure to get you a registration reminder email on May 1st so you don't miss registration. All right, next we are excited that you all are joining us today and wanted to remind you this is live. So we will be using that chat feature. It is enabled. So please feel free to use that chat feature and comment, ask questions throughout the tour. But please, as you do, remember to keep the questions related to the tour and make sure that they are school appropriate. We are really excited to hear from you. I know Farmer Connie is excited to answer your questions. And before we pass it over to Connie, I'm going to see who's joining us today and check out what classes are over on our feed so far. So let's see. We've got an ag classroom from Winchester, Kentucky. Hello, welcome. We have a kindergarten class from Pikeville, Kentucky. Hello, good morning. Another kindergarten class from Lucas, Kentucky. A fifth grade class. Oh, I'm going to butcher this town name. Gamaliel. Oh, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. But that's a fifth grade class. Good morning. And then we've got Morganfield, Kentucky. That is Chase and Emily. Welcome. And we've got some homeschool families from Sharpsburg, Kentucky. And I'm sure many more to go. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Please use that chat. You know how to use it now. Go ahead and ask questions as we go along. If you love something, give us some hearts or some love, and we'd love to interact with you on there while we are live today with Farmer Connie. So with that, I am pleased to introduce you to Farmer Connie in Glasgow, Kentucky at Long Dairy. Hey, Farmer Connie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Brittany. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We have some people that are really excited that they are on this call today with you and get to see you and your beautiful ladies. So I'll let you go ahead and take it away. Give us an intro and tell us about you a little bit.
Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to my farm and glad to have everybody aboard. I guess we'll just start out with number 40 over there. That is Maggie. All these calves are born right around the same time. The three of them were born the same day, and then one of them was just born a day or two after. So we'll just get that. And they all weigh approximately 395 pounds to 400 pounds. So that's on average. And 40 there, she she weighs 394. And her mama was born in 2017, and her mom weighs about 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
And and her mom also gives 107 pounds of milk per day.
Wow. So 107 pounds. Does that, to put that in gallon perspective, it's about 8.8 pounds per gallon?
Well, the production averages 95.8 gallons. So that means 11 gallons of milk.
Wow.
So
and that's a day.
And that's a day. Yeah. And her dad is Velen. I don't know. Her dad is an offsite, but 41 is Muffin, and she weighs like 395 also, and she's about 45 inches tall. and her mom was born in 2017, and I bottle fed her. So I bottle fed her mama, and her mom weighs about 1,600 pounds, and she also gives 104 pounds of milk a day. And her dad is one of our herd bulls, and his name is Oak. So, and then we'll go to Ellie, which is 42. She's the white one over here getting the water. She weighs 394, and she's also about 45 inches tall. Her mama weighs about 1,100 pounds, and I also bottle fed her mama. And her mom gives about 100 pounds of milk a day, and her dad was a herd bull here on the farm, and his name is Mayflower.
Wow. So you've been using the term a little bit, herd bull. Do you mind explaining what that means? Does that mean you raised that bull?
The herd bull is just, well, we didn't raise it. We don't keep any of our bulls.
Okay.
But we purchase bulls from different places, and he puts that particular bull in with the cows when it's time to breed them. So they're either in open fields or they're in the freestyle barn. So.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah. And then Matilda, she's the number 43. I guess she's over there. Right there she is. Right there's Matilda. She's the heaviest of all of them. She weighs 409 pounds, and her mom is 1,200 pounds.
Wow.
And her dad is Houdini. So she may be full of tricks. I don't know. But anyway, her mom gives 101 pounds of milk per day.
Wow.
So that's the intro of the girls.
Yeah. So a little, just to touch base on those a little bit. So you said they're, around 400 pounds or so. And I think if we remember correctly, if everyone thinks back on their first update they would have received on these calves, they probably were barely 100 pounds when they were first born. So they grew and put on about 300 pounds in a short 6 months.
Yeah. They grow fast. They're like our kids, that time flies.
Right. So they put on a lot of weight, and they're really growing big and strong. Do you mind talking a little bit about their food that they're eating to help them grow that much and that quickly?
They eat a combination of cottonseed, bean meal, mineral, and corn. And it's we actually get that from a local feed company that they grind all that up. And I'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's just all ground up together, and they normally get hay, but since we moved them down here, we didn't bring any hay down here for them. So, but they get they eat like 10 pounds of feed a day, and they drink. Of course, they have access to all the water that they want.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that you said they're eating about 10 pounds a day. And so that's a lot of food a day. And that's probably going to just keep going up. So as they get older, what does a grown cow end up eating? How many pounds does a grown cow eat? Do you know?
I think they'll eat about 100 pounds a day.
Wow. But that's a lot of food.
Yeah, it is. And I think they drink like 55 gallons of water a day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, but I think you were saying they're close to, 12 to 1,500 pounds as grown cows. So if they're going to be that big, I guess that means they need that much food to keep on growing strong and healthy. So
no, that's to help
wonderful.
them produce a lot of milk. Yeah. But
awesome. And you had mentioned just briefly that, you brought them to this pen so that way we could all see them, but they aren't currently living here. We just brought them here so we could spend some time with them today. But do you mind just touching base on where they're living right now? And then what would be the next kind of 6 to 8 months for these ladies?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, they start here and they stay here till they're about, I don't know, 3 months old maybe. And then they go up to the dairy. We have a heifer barn up there that they stay in until, I'm not sure how long they stay up there, but then they move to another, then they're outside. Then they go outside to a pasture, and they stay there till time to breed them. And then after that, when they get ready to be bred, they go to another field. So they get moved around a little bit, but then they're, of course, after they're about 15 months old, it's time to start trying to get them to be bred.
Hmm.
And then when after they're bred, then they go online to be milked.
Right, right. And that's bread, BRED, not BREAD.
Right,
um,
right,
so
right,
what BRED means that they'll be pregnant.
right. Exactly.
So just to touch on that a little bit, we're before we tell them, we're going to see if anyone knows without telling them how long a cow is pregnant for. So we won't tell them quite yet, but go ahead and
Okay.
use that chat feature and let us know if you know how long, or give a guess on how long you think a cow's gestation period is, or how long they'll be pregnant for before they'll have their first calf. So we'll move on to something else here, but I want to see if anyone has any guesses on how long they think a gestation period is for a cow, and then we'll come back to that. So awesome. These ladies are really calm and just hanging out with us today,
Yeah.
and they're eating really well. Farmer Connie, do you want to go ahead and just maybe take one step backwards a little bit and just give us an overview of the farm in general? How many cows do you have on the farm? How big is the farm? Talk a little bit about the farm in general.
Um, we actually have probably a little over 500 acres. Of course, we have quite a bit of land that's leased. I don't know how much that is, but we have always milked cows. I have always had to work public work until about 6 years ago. I retired, and then that's when I started taking care of all the babies. And we have currently probably about 1,300 cows altogether. We have 800 cows, and then we have like 500 heifers, and we
Wow.
milk about 600. And I guess I probably have run about 600 baby calves through this barn in a year's time. Of course,
Wow.
that's not taking into consideration that some of them have twins.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
Do twins happen often? Is that something that you see?
they do. They happen more frequently than you would think. So, but
Hmm.
we've had one set of triplets, and that, but they didn't survive. They didn't all
Right.
survive. So yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty hard for Kay, I'm
yeah,
sure. But twins, that's awesome. So about
it's pretty
600 calves.
common.
Right. Yeah, twins are
Yeah,
common, but 600 calves. Wow. And
yeah,
so obviously we're talking about
yeah,
calves here, and we're talking about how long a cow could had their gestation period is. We had some really good guesses, and a few people were spot on. It was 9 months. That is correct. So it's just about the same as a human.
yeah,
Their gestation period is about 9 months. They'll have
yeah,
their first calf by what, about 2 years old or so, maybe 2.5 or so, and then they'll
yeah,
join the
yeah,
milking herd.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. We love it.
Right. That's right.
Well, good guesses, everybody. We appreciate you participating there. We had a couple guesses, and we had a couple that were right spot on 9. So very awesome. We have a couple questions coming in so far, Farmer Connie, that we wanted to go ahead and address here. So let's see. Oh, you know what? We actually answered the one already. So Jamie had asked, my students were wondering how many new calves were born each year. So, and you had said 600 calves. That's a lot. And I would imagine you need some help on the farm for that. How many employees do you have that help you?
We have 4 guys that milk, and then we have, of course, our son. He helps us on the farm. He's our herd manager. He takes care of all the issues. He takes care of all the breeding, and then we have, of course, my husband Keith. He does the feeding, and we have an extra guy that helps him feed. So so
Okay.
7 people, 8 people counting me.
Okay, so it takes a village to take care of thousands of cows on your farm, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. She's going in
All right.
and out. Yeah.
Uh, so let's see. So we've got some other questions that we wanted to ask you, Farmer Connie. So what we see black and white cows right now. Are there other
Hmm.
breeds and other colors of cows at all?
We strictly have Holsteins. We do have some red and white, but I would say 95% of our herd are black and white.
Okay. Okay. So you guys are Holsteins with a little bit of red and white.
Right.
Are there now what happens if someone sees one that's brown? Is that still a dairy cow, or, tell us a little bit about the other breeds.
Well, Jerseys, of course, that's a dairy, that's a cow too, a dairy cow too, and
Mhm.
we used to have Jerseys a long time ago, but they're, I don't know, they're I think they're a little harder to deal with. But anyway, we just strictly go to the Holsteins.
Yeah, and they're big and beautiful for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
awesome. We had someone wondering, it looks like it's from Cherie. Their ag class is wondering, do you have a favorite cow? And so who is your favorite cow and why? Or maybe favorite calf and why?
I really don't have a favorite. I have so many that by the time I get them fed and take care of all of them like that, that I don't keep them that long, so they're in and out a lot, pretty quick. So I don't have a favorite.
Right. Just gotta love them all, right? Just
I like them all. That's
give them
right.
all love.
That's right.
Well, that's good. You're the caretaker, so we just like
Yes.
we can't pick favorites, I guess.
Yeah. 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 But
We had a good question. This one is from Derek, and he was just wondering. So, looking at a cow, they look like they have really skinny legs and a really big body. Can you just explain a little bit, about the structure of a cow? Is it normal for them to look a little bit skinnier than maybe what a beef cow would look like? Can you just maybe explain that little bit of a difference and explain the strength and structure of a dairy cow versus a beef cow?
well, I really don't know. I mean, they just, you know, I really can't answer that question. I don't know.
Well, so right, so beef cows, they put all of their energy into creating beef and the meat on their bones, right? And then a dairy cow would put all
Right.
their energy into producing milk.
Right. Right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. No, yeah, so that's why that they, maybe they look like they might be skinny, but that's exactly how the cows are supposed to be. So thanks,
Yeah.
Derek. That was a good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. That was a good question.
That was. Thank you. We have some folks, they were wondering if there's any chance we can get really up close to Maggie. I forget which
Maggie.
number she is, but we were just wondering if maybe she'd let us get up close. We've got a couple folks who really love Maggie, so we were hoping to see some love on her. If she'll stand still for us, I know there.
Yeah. I don't know if she will or not. She's
Oh,
like, whoa, what are you doing?
right. Oh, look at their ears. So, and something I did recently, actually, we were just talking with someone else about, we learned this in an animal behavior class. If everyone can see how they're all putting their ears towards us right now, that means their full attention is on us. But if they were to turn one of their ears away and turn it towards something else, that means they're actually listening or looking at something else. So cows can't quite see straight ahead. Their eyes are kind of off to the side. So when you kind of look at their ears, and if their ears are facing you, that means they're looking at you. If their ears are facing away, that means they're not looking at you. So our camera lady here and Farmer Connie are getting all the love. You can see their ears are perked right at us, and they are paying close attention to us and are giving you all their love and attention. So that's pretty cool. We have a question from the ag class. What age do calves stop drinking milk? So when do they stop drinking milk and shift to grain and TMR and things like that?
We have ours on our automatic feeder, and it will automatically wean them at 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
And then
Okay.
that's when they get well, when they're on their bottle, when they're on their automatic feeder, we have a pellet that we feed them. It's kind of got molasses. It's kind of uh, a sweet feed, and we feed them on that until they're weaned, and then we switch them over to the grain feed.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned the word weaned. So just as a reminder to everyone, the word weaned just means simply we're weaning them off of one type of food and moving them into another type of food. Just like for babies, we wean them off of milk and we
Exactly.
start eating people food and real food. So we do the same thing with these girls. And it's important so that way they can develop their 4 different compartments in their stomach and eventually be able to eat foods that we as humans can't eat, which is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. We have another question coming in, Farmer Connie, for you. They were wondering, how long do cows live on the farm? So what's their average lifespan of a cow?
We have 11 years old is our oldest cow currently.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. And I think I've heard a couple other farmers share with us that it's about like 1 cow year to like 10 people years. So if that's a 11-year-old cow, that's an old cow.
Yeah, she's old.
Oh, but I'm
probably
sure
110 then.
Right. Yeah. So she's doing really well, and that's exciting to hear. So that's your oldest cow. And what I would say the average cow is maybe 5 or 6 years old on a farm. Does that sound about right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So we had another question coming in. Someone was asking, so about milk specifically. So they know when they go to the grocery store, they see whole milk, they see 2%, they see 1%, they see skim, but they're wondering if you knew any insight on how that happens. Do cows produce 2% and 1% milk, or does it have to be processed differently to create 2% and 1% milk?
What? They make whole milk.
They make whole milk.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it has to be homogenized and pasteurized. And then
yeah. So it goes through a homogenization process.
Yeah, and then they remove the cream to make the 2%.
Right. So okay, that makes sense. Okay, so the cows produce whole milk, which is about 3.25% or so of fat. Right. And then to make 2% or 1% or skim, they just remove the cream in the processing plant and create the different levels of milk. That's pretty cool. But all cows produce whole milk naturally.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This is a good question from Derek. Someone he was asking, do the cows have hair or is it just skin? So it's a little hard to see with the video. It's hard to see texture. Is that actual fur, like a hide, or is it their skin, or what is it?
It's actual fur. They still got their winter coat on.
Gotcha.
They'll shed as it gets warmer. They'll shed and they'll get pretty slick.
Yeah, they'll get nice and shiny, and they definitely look. I can see the one white one. She looks a little fuzzy. She looks pretty woozy yet.
Yeah, yeah. She's a little furry,
but they get the winter coat.
Yeah, they have the winter coats on right now.
Right. But, oh my goodness. Let's see. So we've got another question coming in here. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. So after you milk all your cows for the day, how much milk do you end up with in your tank? So after 1 day of milking, about how much milk do you have in your tank after 1 day?
I think it's about 6,000 pounds. It's a pretty good sized tank.
Wow, 6,000 pounds. So if it's 6,000 pounds and there's about 8.8 pounds in a gallon, that's a little over 680 gallons a day.
Yeah,
you guys are producing.
They pick up our milk every day.
Yeah, and actually, so you just said they pick up your milk. Who picks up your milk? And do you know what brand that your milk ends up going into at all?
DFA is who picks up our milk, and I think we are either Purity or Prairie Farms.
Okay, very cool. So if anyone sees any of those brands in the grocery store, it's possible that they're maybe drinking milk from your cows, which would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. We have some other questions coming in here. Oh, this is a good question from Rebecca. How tall is a typical calf. So, and I guess they're, that can really range in age. So maybe
Yeah.
right now, maybe say how tall they usually are right now and maybe how tall they are as a grown cow.
Uh, right now, these are about 45 inches tall,
Mhm.
but as they get older, I would think that the ones that we have that are full grown right now, they're about 5 feet tall, or some of them maybe a little bit taller.
Yeah. Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
that's awfully tall. I think that might be taller than you.
yeah, yeah. Some of them are taller than me.
And it's funny, we were watching these girls a little bit go around you. They're very clearly herd animals, right? As soon as one moves, they all move and they like to
Yes,
stick together as a pack.
yes, yes, they do. They're very social.
Yeah, absolutely. We had another good question, and I'm actually going to almost throw this question back at everybody watching us today. We had a question from Maria, that a second grader, that says, "Do cows help make cheese?" So before we answer that, I am going to ask everybody else watching today, do cows help make cheese? Is that a dairy product? And so go ahead and put in the chat feature
Oh, geez.
if cheese is a dairy product, and if it is, say yes or no. And we'd also love for you to share with us what your favorite dairy products are. I know personally, my favorite is ice cream. Farmer Connie, what's your favorite dairy product?
Probably cheese.
Cheese.
I love cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, cheese is delicious. I agree. So we'll see what everyone has to say and what their favorite dairy products are. But that's a great question. Thank you for sharing that, our second grader. And let's see. Oh, we have another good question here from Ms. Blackburn. One of her students said, "Do calves have a bedtime? Do they have a structured bedtime at all, or what's their schedule look like?"
They probably do. They're pretty creature of habit, so they eat pretty much the same time, and they go to bed uh, probably around dark.
Mhm.
When everything after they get through eating, then they calm down and they get settled in for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
A cow just probably sleeps about 10 to 12 hours a day. You think that they're sleeping, but they're actually just resting. They don't really close their eyes. So
Right. They just like to be lazy all day.
yeah, they like to chill.
Yep.
So
We had another good question coming in from Brittany Jones. Her class was wondering if the calves, do they prefer, or do they, raising an animal, do you prefer, or is it better to raise them in a barn or a pasture, or maybe just talk about the benefits of raising them in a barn? Just talk a little bit about that for us.
well, it's it is better to raise them in the barn because of the weather, and they're out of all the elements and everything, and it's easier on me. But when they're in the barn, of course, you get them all confined together, and they just get used to being you know confined together.
Right.
So
They learn to socialize and make friends because they're going to live
right,
together as adults as they're growing
right,
up. And when they're in a barn like this, you can watch them better and monitor them better, right? You can see them, make
right,
sure if they're sick, you can get to them quicker. If they're on a pasture, and certainly there's plenty of farms that do very well with pasture raising. But for you guys, especially in a state where it can get pretty cold, having the barn is important so they can stay warm and cozy. We can see those big tubes across the back behind you. Isn't that for
yeah,
air ventilation, right? To help make sure it stays
right,
nice and cool and comfortable.
yeah.
So the barn is designed perfectly to make sure that they are always comfortable 24/7, which is pretty incredible.
And
Yeah.
then we have these fans. We have these that they're automatic. They kick on automatically at a certain temperature, so that helps cool them off. And of course, the curtains. We've got curtains here, and we got them down today. But on a nice, warm, sunny day, we can raise the curtains up all the way, and they get fresh air like that. And when you open the curtains, they like it because they all roll there to the edge, and stick their noses out, so they can get the fresh air.
I love that. They like getting
Yeah,
that fresh air when it's warm, but man, when it's cold, they appreciate that barn. That's for sure.
they do. They do. They like to snuggle down in this straw and get warm.
Aw, that's awesome. Well, Farmer Connie, we have had a lot of fun chatting with you today. We've had a lot of great questions coming in. We just have one last question for you, if you don't mind answering one more question. And that's truly just what is your why? Why do you choose to dairy farm? Why did you retire and go back into farming? What's your passion and love for the dairy industry? Why do you do what you do every day?
Well, like I said, we've always milked, and I've always helped some. But when you take care of these babies, and they depend on you strictly, to feed them and everything, and when they see you, like when I first put them in the pens over here, and trying to train them to go to a new uh, a new thing to take their milk.
Yeah.
When you can look at them, they'll be across the pen over here, excuse me, and you can look at them and say, "Come on," like this, and they like a dog. They'll jump up and they'll come
Aw.
running to you, and they love you just like as much as you can love them. So
Right. Yeah. They really are wonderful animals. I would be happy every day taking care of these girls. I mean, man, they are just lovable. Look at them. They're loving each other right now and hanging out. Maybe they're playing a little bit
yeah,
too. um,
yeah,
but it is truly rewarding just to
it
take
is
care of.
rewarding. It
Yeah.
surely is.
Yeah. And you get to produce a very high quality product that is important and vital for our health, and producing some really great products that we all enjoy, like cheese and ice cream and yogurt. So thank you, Farmer Connie, for
Yeah,
doing what you do and raising these girls and letting us adopt them this year. This was a lot of fun getting to know them and see their pictures all year long and following along with your farm and getting to know you. So thank you so much
thank
for
you,
doing what you do. Awesome. All right, everybody.
thank
Thank
you,
you to all of you who joined us today. We really had fun with you today. Thank you for asking some really good questions. As a reminder, this is wrapping up the year of our Adopt a Cow program. But if you had fun this year or you weren't part of it this year and want to join next year, registration will open May 1st, and you can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt to fill out the short little form to get a notification when registration does open on May 1. So we hope to see you next year in the program, and these girls are posing for us to say goodbye. But thank you again, Connie. This has been wonderful, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We will sign
thank
off now.
thank you.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.